I think the rise of the G20 group as a high-level informal group for global economic decision-making to respond to the global financial crisis was or represented a practical example of the positive effect of increasing the participation of developing countries in policy-making decisions or processes. In spite of not having a permanent bureau, the G20 could become the nerve center of an expanding agenda that submitted proposals or drove them to international organizations to improve the international mechanisms. I think this has been patterned in Mexico in 2012, when the touches of topics very important for emerging countries were submitted, were covered. For example, food security, the social dimension of globalization, microcredits, or inclusive finance, employment, climate action, sustainable development, etc. However, in my opinion, the possibilities of intervention, proposals, or vetoes for countries like Argentina that are not part of the group of the main countries are still quite limited. Furthermore, I think that the role that could be played by the G20 to make sure the interests of our countries are protected is not still somehow uncertain, really. It's my belief that the representation and the role of the developing countries in the G20 must be a subject of debate, really. In this context, the strategy for our countries should consist of trying to tilt the balance from a peripheral place where the opinions among the main countries are contradictory, to position themselves among the central countries so that they can discuss what they consider unfavorable or inadequate. Also, in terms of propositions, our country should make alliances with relevant partners to incorporate topics into the discussion agenda. And this dynamic can be useful to develop joint action strategies with countries such as the BRICS. But in order to identify the Argentine position as an emerging country in this multilateral sphere in the global governance and its influence as a middle power through its participation in G20, I could say that although Argentina has had very intense participation in previous summits during the former government, the Argentina's objectives didn't thrive in the G20 agenda, really, as did those of other emerging countries. And this was due to the fact that the former government failed to reinforce the position within the group by coordinating policies and actions with Brazil or Mexico, for example, which would have provided more political strength than isolation, really. But since December 2015, we have a new government, the government of Mauricio Macri, and this government has addressed the issues of the G20 in the current agenda in a way that emphasizes the continuing dialogue and to search the common issues or the common points by proposing proposing priorities in which there is a common interest with our potential partners. By trying to make consensus a central pillar of Argentine presidency. Argentine presidency will not be only its own voice. It wants to be the voice of the whole region, bringing the aspirations and the concerns of Latin America and Caribbean, and as well as Africa and Asia. To finish, I would say that in connection with this, and that is the reason why Argentina had chose these three key issues, that those are futures work, infrastructure, and food security.